What is going on, college sports fans? Welcome back to another video. Today we got some pretty big news because Gonzaga is officially leaving the West Coast Conference and joining the Pac-12 Conference in 2026. And they are joining alongside Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, and Colorado State. And also, a couple days ago, Utah State is now officially announced to join the Pac-12 Conference. So now they officially have 8 teams. 8 teams for basketball with Gonzaga, along with the teams I just mentioned in Washington State and Oregon State, where Gonzaga does not have a football program. Gonzaga is joining for all sports, which men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, all sports that Gonzaga plays, they will be playing Pac-12. They just do not have a football team. There are speculations out there that Gonzaga could be adding a football team. They did used to have one back in 1941. Was actually the last time Gonzaga did have a football team. But even if not, Gonzaga basketball is going to bring the Pac-12 enough money to where this is going to be a really good ad. Gonzaga has been really one of the bigger brands in college basketball that's not really a blue blood over the past couple of years. They played in a couple of national championship games. They lost them both, one in 2017, I believe, against North Carolina, and one in 2021 against the Baylor Bears. They lost both those games, but they have been in the national championship game. And a lot of people who are just like making brackets and are casual college basketball fans know who Gonzaga is. Like if you went up to a random person who just does not watch college basketball and you're like, yeah, do you know about Gonzaga? They'd be like, yeah, sure. I know a couple players that went there or remember some of their runs in March Madness. So this is a very good basketball brand that the Pac-12 is picking up. And they actually have a pretty dominant, in my opinion, college basketball conference. I mean, this conference is going to compete with a lot of conferences in college basketball, and maybe not to the level of like the Big 12 or even the SEC has been pretty good, the Big East. But this Pac-12 conference does not look bad whatsoever. The two big ones are Gonzaga and San Diego State that are both going to be joining in 2026. And then other than that, you still have Boise State, Colorado State, which have been really good basketball programs over the past so many years. Washington State was pretty good last year, although a lot of their players did transfer away. But they could get back to that, especially if this conference starts to like gain prestige as a basketball conference. They could definitely pull in some recruits, them and Oregon State, really. The teams that I would like to see the Pac-12 add from here on out, honestly, I'm a basketball guy over football for college all day. I love both, but I love college basketball on a different level. I would like to see them go out and pick up a couple more of these basketball schools. Like UNLV has a really good basketball history right there from the Mountain West, easy to grab. Also New Mexico. New Mexico been very good basketball team over the past so many years and have a pretty good history in college basketball. I'd love to see them go grab them. Those would be two very easy ads for basketball. And then on my wish list for them to add for basketball would be St. Mary's, also from the West Coast Conference, like Gonzaga came from, just to join for all other sports, not football, just mainly for basketball, to be honest. I'd like to see them add St. Mary's. I'd like to see them add Grand Canyon there in Arizona just for straight basketball purposes. And I know that this is not going to happen. St. Mary's, like there's a non-zero chance they could add St. Mary's, but Grand Canyon, I think that there is no chance. Also, San Francisco from the West Coast Conference, that wouldn't be a horrible ad. I don't think that's going to happen either. But then, like I said, UNLV, New Mexico, I'd like to see them go after those teams. And then the other basketball school that I'd like to see them get is Memphis. But we do have some news that has happened recently with Memphis and joining the Mountain West Conference. There apparently was 3 teams that was offered a Mountain West Conference invite that have denied it, all from the AAC, which is the American Conference. One of those is Memphis. The other 2 are Tulane and South Florida. They have all been offered a spot in the Pac-12, but have denied it. And Memphis, they actually came out and said, they were like, yeah, it just really wasn't that great of an offer, and pretty much said he's going to hold off on joining this conference because he's fine where Memphis is at in the American, and also they might get another invite from either the ACC the Big 10, the Big 12. Who knows? They could definitely get that offer because honestly, Memphis in basketball and even football as well is one of the bigger brands that has not been picked up by a power conference. So I personally think the Pac-12 should try to go after them again. I think Memphis would be an insane ad. If you have a big three of Gonzaga, Memphis, San Diego State as your basketball teams, I think that that would be huge for the Pac-12, and that is personally the route I would go, but I am more of a basketball guy than a football guy. Also, some quick little realignment news. The Mountain West did go out and pick up UTEP, the University of Texas El Paso. So the Mountain West is kind of trying to build back up after losing 5 teams now to the Pac-12 and most likely losing a couple more at least. They go and try to manage that a little bit by picking up UTEP. But with this news, I personally think the Pac-12 is going to try to add a couple of football schools now that they got Gonzaga. Even though me personally, I would try my hardest to get Memphis. They did decline the offer. They're waiting out on a better offer, which from Memphis's point of view, I think that's actually probably a good decision. I think that they can get an ACC invite or even a Big 12 invite, which in my opinion would be better for the program. The teams that I could see as possible ads for the Pac-12 now, like I said, they are at 8 total. They're probably going to try to get to at least 10 or 12 to also join by 2026 with the rest of these teams. But the teams that I think they could add, Nevada, UNLV, I think those two are really the top gets. And it's actually rumored out there that the AAC, the American Athletic Conference, is also fighting with the Pac-12 to try to bring in these Mountain West teams like UNLV especially. So that is kind of interesting that the American is trying to poach some of these teams from the Mountain West before the Pac-12 can. I think the Pac-12 can get Nevada, UNLV, New Mexico, and Wyoming if they want them to make it a 12-team conference. I think if there's 2 teams that get left behind in the Mountain West, it's going to be San Jose State and Air Force. But I think that they could definitely bring in those 4 teams if they really wanted to. But the other teams outside of the Pac-12, I think that they could bring in if they wanted to try to poach from the American, is UTSA, Tulsa, North Texas, and Rice. And honestly, those teams don't really sound all that great to me. I think if you're going to poach anyone from the American, it's got to be Memphis. And other than that, Tulane, South Florida, they all declined. You're going to have to make them a better offer. I don't think they're going to get them. I think it's most likely that they do get Nevada, UNLV, Wyoming, and New Mexico to round out a 12-team conference for the Pac-12. That would leave the Mountain West with only San Jose State, Air Force, and now their new ad, UTEP. So that would be it for the Mountain West. And also, so that would leave them with 4 for football, 3 for basketball, and the Mountain West would have to rebuild at that point. But I think that is probably the direction that is most likely to happen for the Mountain West after these 2 big ads of Gonzaga and Utah State. Puts them at a good number of 8 for basketball and 7 for football. They're going to try to get it to at least 10, I think, in adding the 4 top teams left in the Mountain West in Nevada, UNLV, New Mexico, and Wyoming. To me, makes the most sense for this conference. Let me know what you guys think about Gonzaga joining the Pac-12 conference, though. It's kind of interesting. Makes them a really good basketball conference that I'm definitely looking forward to watching when they start playing in 2026 between San Diego State, Gonzaga, Boise State, Utah State. This is going to be a stacked basketball conference. I'm super excited to watch these games when they do get here in a couple of years. But let me know what you guys think. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching.